finally feels like the growing season, doesn't it? A beautiful afternoon out on around the ponds, cutting the grass, and it's just thriving with wildlife. You'll probably be able to hear the birds in song, and the fish are really up for the feed at the moment, spending most of the day on the surface and just basking in the sun. And in the mornings they're clearly troughing on the feed, so yeah, they're really up for it. And you can see them starting to put weight on now, and at last, we're in the sort of middle of June now. But yeah, lovely to spend time down here now watching them. So yeah, I thought we'd get and cut the grass and give a little idea of what I'm feeding at the moment. We're feeding BP Gold, obviously. The water temperature's up around sort of 20 degrees now. After today, I'd imagine they're over 20 degrees in fact. So yeah, BP Gold and coating that in Naturapel to help keep the parasites off and give the fish plenty of energy. And yeah, that seems to be well accepted by the fish. Every morning I come down here. And I thought it'd be worth talking about spawning as well, because obviously the majority of the fisheries across the country now have completed spawning, it seems, or they've had a go at least. And I thought it'd be worth just talking about, because you see a lot of comments on social media and people's views, and it seems like it's getting more traction that fisheries are shutting for spawning, which I think is the right thing to do. But personally, my view is that I think you can do more damage the week leading up to spawning than you can from then on. I think that's when fish are most vulnerable, particularly females. When the female is full of spawn, she's ready to drop, and those eggs are ripe and ready to drop. And you know, a big female, it might be, you know, a 40-pound fish, 25% of her body weight could be spawn. So if you catch that fish, and they will feed before they're ready to drop their eggs, you know, to build up energy, they'll feed, and there's been lots of catch reports leading up to spawning, and that's when I think they're most vulnerable, when they're really sort of ready to spawn. They're bloated, they're full of eggs, and if you catch that fish and have it out on the bank taking pictures when it's going to be at its top weight, obviously, so it's important for the angler to get the right pictures, unfortunately. So if you're taking that fish out of the water and having it on the bank for all those pictures and weighing it and getting it back right down to the right pounds and ounces, when that fish is full of spawn, I think that's bad news for the fish. And I think that's when, if you're exhausting that fish from playing it in the fight, obviously, to begin with, and then you're taking it out of the water and starving it of oxygen, because obviously when you take the fish out of the water, the gill structure has gone from being a real nice open, like the lamellae and gill filaments are really nice and open. When you take the fish out of water, all that water between the gills is gone, so the gills all the gill filaments have clubbed up, and they're completely inefficient in converting oxygen. So you can imagine that those fish are going to stress straight away as soon as they're out of the water. They can't breathe like they should be able to. You know, it's warm, and you've got the massive eggs that they're holding. You're holding it up for picture, and you haven't out the water, and all that time it's being starved of oxygen. I just think that's the perfect scenario for problems, I think. So yeah, my personal opinion is that I think you could do more damage leading up to spawning than you can afterwards. I think once they've spawned, obviously they've been through a very stressful scenario, and they've shed all their eggs, and they're, you know, I think that they're ready to feed and go again, although they might take a day or two to recover. I think that obviously it's great to close after spawning for a few weeks, definitely get some food in, get the energy and condition back on the fish, get them to help to reduce those stress levels that they've just been through, feed them up, and at least give them at least a couple of weeks, in my opinion. But like I say, I think if you know that the water temperatures are climbing and the fish look like they're full and ready to go, ready to spawn, I think it's a good idea to close a week before they actually do go through the motions. But rightly or wrongly, somebody else might have a different opinion, but I personally I've seen fish that have been caught just before spawning, and then they're found belly up a few weeks later, and I think it's got to be down to that, because you know they get caught, like I say, that when they get caught full of spawn, they're at their top weight, so anglers tend to take a long time to get a good shot of the fish at his best weight. It might even be a lake record, it might be a PB, and all these things take time, and that's extra stress on the fish at a time when it just wants to get rid of that weight and get on with life and start feeding. So yeah, that's my personal opinion on it. But yeah, hopefully you're enjoying the sun this weekend, and I think it's a good thing to keep on top of grass and keep everything tidy, because I think your anglers respect it a little bit more. Any visitors that you get, when they see it being when they see your fishery or your venue immaculately clean, they're more likely to respect it, I think. And I think litter stands out a lot more, so they're more likely to clean up after themselves. There's always going to be one or two though, isn't there? But yeah, have a good weekend, and we'll got a busy week coming up. Lots of orders coming in with this sun, and lots of fisheries closing for spawning, so they want to get some feed in post spawning, which is a good idea. And we'll keep you posted.